Hey everyone. Well, not everyone, just a couple to start with there. We've still got a few to go. Hey, Tony Nash, will that be whale or guppy mug there? I just noticed my emblem is over my face, but oh well. So be it. Hey Wayne, Tony, Jessica. How's it, Jessica? 3X. Cosman, hello. Margarita Doctor. Peter Javensky. Corey. G'day, Greg. Sutterbridge. Yeah, no repairs, Sutterbridge, so you can run off if you don't want to watch. Hey, Carl, Kenny. Alright, seems like everybody's turning up. Hey, Travis and Ed. So yeah, my multimeter finally turned up today. That was a bit of a protracted process of obtaining it, but yeah, finally 2.5, 3 months after, we're here. G'day, Tux, another X-ray. Very good. Let's see if I can lift it up and show you all. It certainly weighs more than the Vicky. But let's see, is this gonna... I cannot see my current... You're gonna come up? Yeah, it's a bit hard to... Anyway, so it's a pretty reasonable meter. It's fairly cheap, really. It's a 4.5 digit, 55,000 count. I can't turn it around much better than that. So... Nice thing about it is that it has got 4-wire resistance mode on it, which with the right cables is quite useful. We might be able to show how that's done in a future board repair video as well. I think the price was 300 Australian dollars delivered. I'm out of coffee already. That was a bit too quick. Now I'm feeling like I'm being deprived. I'll just have to have ice cream afterwards. Yeah, Andrew finally arrived. Okay. Alright, so these meters use a programming language, programming system called SCPI, which is sort of like a standardized communication protocol over whatever transport medium they're using, be it USB, Ethernet, or serial. This one here is serial only, but that's not a problem. I've got it connected at 11.5, yeah, 115,200 or whatever it is. Needless to say, it's not a problem. This is a Farnell, which is actually a rebadged 01X3021, I think it is. I'm not exactly sure, but it's definitely a rebadged 01 unit. Hey, Jim. Yeah, not enough coding for coffee for coding. Hey, Barry. So... Since we've already done an SCPI project, which was the power supply, I can just simply, well, I have copied that code into a new folder, give it a new name I'm going to, and at least we've already got the display system set up, we've got the interface set up, yeah, we're basically ready to go. Hey, Oli. So hopefully it shouldn't take more than 7 or 8 weeks to finish this software. So I guess we'll see. We are not going to be doing any programming of the multimeter from the on-screen display. It's just purely going to be on-screen display. But we certainly have the capability, if we want, to be able to change modes and ranges and things like that from the application. But we're not going to be doing that. We're just going to be purely querying it on this case. Put on his what? Toops page. What's my... Toops page. I have no idea what that is, Wayne. Hey, Kpaz. Alright, so I got my old code here, which is the MP7100, and we're just going to change that now to the MP730424. They need to come up with better product names for these. So we're just going to MP7100. This will be the Linux version. To MP... I think I might have to increase that font slightly. Regular. Okay, helps the old timers issues. Everything's got to be a little bit larger because this is a 2560 by 1440 display. A Max Central. And newsboy. Okay, so this is obviously wrong. This is now multi-comp 730. Ian, yep, let's see. Nice thing is this meter will support 65, around about 60 samples a second, so that's a pretty damn good rate. Yeah. I'm just going to go through the code, reacquaint myself with what I've done, and work out what I can and can't strip out. Secretly hoping I get a seg fault. Oh, that's nice. How nice. Tux, Keith, Joseph Fraser. Okay, we don't support the USB function on this one, but we might leave it in there in case. This will probably translate over to whatever 5.5 digit variation they produce of this, you know, basically rebadging the 01 5.5 digit. So I might just leave the USB code in there. And everything else, okay, we do need a bigger parameter set here. This is 115 200. 56, there. I'm going to leave that at that for now. Most of these parameters, you can change a lot of the parameters on the front panel of the multimeter, the serial. It's very easy to do that. But I think we'll, for now, just stick with the 11.5 200. Hey Paul, yeah, pretty happy about this, yep. Okay, parameter parsing should be all, we've done the color thing. That color interpretation took us a long time the last time. Okay, default parameters should be, I'm pretty sure that's it. Let's see, port 11.5 200, yep. Oh, it was already there. Whoops. Yeah, we'll ignore Windows for now. No one uses Windows. It's really, it's C. The only reason why I've got C++ in here is just so that STL, though I actually don't even need that. I think that's more of a fallback carryover from an existing code, but really it should only just be in C. Okay, what am I doing here? Certainly the power supply version was much easier. So what we basically need to do is we need to get the function that it's running and then measure it. So it's just two-step process over and over and over again. So all this here really isn't required, but we're going to leave it until we don't need it. It's certainly not C sharp. How dare you, good sir. A lot of these are just sizing things. This is the downside of when you're trying to use your old code, is you've got to try and work out what you need to clear out and what you need to keep. Okay, well this is essentially the loop here. Oops. So all we need to do is we go, instead of measure volt, we go get function. Now I'm obviously going to be changing these. And I'm deliberately changing the variable names so that I don't forget to change them elsewhere in the code. Mind you, after I run it a couple of times, I'll obviously be like going, well, I can see where I got that wrong. Okay, so this will be, say, buff function. Good on you, Paul. Yeah, that should be fine. Oh, good on you. Hey Cecilia, I did it first today. I had my very first iPhone 7 TriStar with underfill. And let me just tell you, that is not a nice thing to do. It was a very hellish process. I would not recommend it to anybody. I reckon it's probably more annoying than even trying to get a CPU and RAM off. Wonder if it's going to need the line break. It is, yes. What I might do is, though, incorporate that into the actual... Did I put that in there? No, it didn't. Ah. Okay, we're not going to do anything with the values just yet. So I'm just going to go... So we're just going to get a basic operating version, and then we will work up from that. Might be compilable now. Truly a horrible product name. It compiled. Let's see if it actually runs. Let's see. Okay, it's a start. Segfault. Alright, why? Probably permissions. Segfault. It's probably segfaulting on the parsing of the string. That would be my guess. Yeah, Barry, this is so it comes up on screen. Basically like the current meter that I've got. Ultimately, yeah, no real different to that. Pardon me. .605. Oops, wrong file. Yeah, that makes sense because G device would be empty without me. So that should be if g.device does not make a null. Yeah, go on, Paul. Do that properly so it's not ambiguous. Okay. What else? Attempting to open null. Can't get the file, probably. Really need a controversy, yes. Attempting to open, right. Attempting Open port. S device. Oh, of course, I'm not telling it what damn device I'm an idiot. Okay. SP device, USB. Yeah. Invalid serial format string. Well, just keeps going on, doesn't it? At least we're getting somewhere. I'm usually as sensitive to sound, can't handle many, but if I love the sound of it's a half-average mechanical keyboard. I wouldn't really call it a true mechanical keyboard. I don't consider cherry switches to be true mechanical. Unless they're buckling spring, they're not true. In my, how could you say, stubborn view. Yeah. This actually works with, it seems to be working just fine with USB to serial. I'm using a FT232 genuine cable, but unlike the cheap nasty equipment like the Vickies, well I shouldn't say cheap nasty, but unlike the cheaper stuff that seems to rely on having a full voltage serial type port, these ones seem to work just fine on your typical digital level serial ports and FT232s and PL2303s, things like that. Hey Prater. Lewis, what's this? Lewis has been really mentioning your name on his videos. Has he? What? I saw he did. See, Scott told me just before that I was missing the device. Thank you, Scott. I saw he got the Pine phone today, and I've already gone and joined up to the Pine forums and a couple of things like that, and trying to see if we can get them to produce Boardview formats for their devices. Obviously, the first thing one person said is, well, we don't want to give those out because it makes it awfully easy for other people to manufacture them then. And I said, well, we don't want the full EDA file. We don't want the full manufacturing file. We just want pins with position, network, pin number, and part name. That's your fundamental information you need to produce a board view file. The second bit of information you can have is the board outline, and with that you can do what we do with the MacBooks and things like such, and you don't really stand a risk then of making it easy for other people to copy your work, because you're not actually providing any routing or any layer information or anything like that. It's just simply a logical representation that we can then translate into a physical overlay. Yeah, just service manuals really. Okay, now let's see, what am I coming? Invalid serial format string. So let's see, I'm obviously decoding this slightly wrongly. So 1152. Okay, 1152, yeah. So we've got that. When we get to that, okay, so what we've got here is a problem where we've got a device-specific limitation. So we really, when we have the speed in here, we really should just take the next 3 characters and decode them directly, rather than doing all this weird stuff I'm doing here. So we go, okay, so we get that, we jump to that, and then we go switch, star P, and this will be, in this case 8 is the only valid value. I'm not going to make it actually terminate on that. I'm just going to simply tell the person that it only accepts 8-bit mode, and then we just move on to the next character. And then we have either none, odd, or even. Basically, I'm just improving on my old code. Jessica, oh, thank you very much. $20, gee, that'll give me diabetes for sure with the amount of ice cream I'm going to get with that. I bought 2 more tubs tonight. It's definitely a bit of an issue thing. Okay, I know this is going to be driving people insane, but this will all get cleaned up in the end. Thank you very much, Jessica. Hey, Teresa. And I've got these all in the wrong place. Crud. Yeah, I copied them in the wrong places. Okay, so this will actually be none. And this will be odd. And that'll be even. And then last field will be stop bits, but I don't think... Let's see, can I change my stop bits? Yes, I can actually. Alright. Stop bits the next. Yeah, I think old code wanted the all separated, and I think that's probably just a little bit verbose, so I'm just going to make it the compact version so that when people move between my different pieces of software they can get confused. It's the right thing to do. It keeps everybody on their toes. The only thing is I actually don't know how to set the stop bits in this. Okay. So we've got C stop B, 2 stop bits rather than 1. Okay. C stop B. And if it's 1, we will reverse that. Let's see, whoops, and equals invert C stop B. Oh, come on. I think that should about do it. It's probably not going to compile now. It compiled. Foolish fools. Alright, that's actually getting there. If I should switch over to ohms. Yeah, it's resistance mode. Diode mode. No, that's continuity mode. But that's saying diode. It's definitely continuity on here. And that's we found a bug in their firmware. They've got diode and continuity mode swapped over. That's weird. Because if I go back to resistance mode, it comes up correctly. Amps, current, yep. Yeah, it looks like we've got crazy values there to the minus 0.9, I guess. That's basically zero for all intents and purposes. Capacitance, frequency, yep. Temperature. Well, that's weird. That was a little slow. 23, 24 degrees centigrade. Okay, yeah, that's pretty close. Huh. Alrighty. Yeah, I'm not going to reverse engineer that. I'm going to just compensate for the bugs in my code instead. Alright, so now we're going to have to translate engineering, scientific notation. Let's see, how do I translate that? I always forget that. Man. AUF. STR Strod? What? Oh, not D is not decimal, D is double. Right, that threw me for a second then, my brain wasn't working. Okay, so we want Strod, and we should be able to do... Yeah, we should... Yeah, okay. Don't mind me. So it's going to be a bit weird. We have to take a string containing the scientific notation, convert it to a double, and then convert the double back to a string, but in the format that we want, visual format. Okay, just go down here, blah blah blah, where are we? And then we'll probably also want to change the function mode to be something a little less weird, like we've got quotation marks on it and stuff like that. So like here with the value, let's see. And for this, the only trouble we've got here is that if we just do this from a double value, it means we can't then draw things like over limit or auto or anything like that. So we need to have two versions of this conversion. I know it sounds confusing, but yeah, we'll do the normal one first just to test that it actually works. So this is a 4.5 digit meter. Four significant digits in SPMPRIF. Digits. I want the number of digits. Well, you see, the thing is, I want to check before I convert the string. I need to check to see if it's not actually a number. Well, the str to d, the string to double will actually error probably for me. Let's see. Well, for now we can just go, which is really naughty, but we'll do that. And that should actually be TD. Yeah, okay, so yeah, we get a full-blown temperature value there. Can't believe they've got that broken there. Michael, thank you very much for the 199. What am I looking for? I've got to point out something. Someone... TW... the flavors of vanilla and coffee. Pine phone is, well, it's not a pine phone, it's a pineapple. I'm catching up now on all the... I wonder how responsive they are, fixing bugs in their firmware, perhaps put a fix in the line code for content rate. Yeah, I will be doing that, yeah. Gavin, not quite Diavolo, but yeah. See, right now it's actually showing open on the screen for the continuity. So, next phase is we'll change our function name. It's going to be a bit sloppy, really, what I'm about to do, but sometimes you've got to do sloppy stuff in coding. Sad to say. I hate doing this sort of thing. But anyway, this is how it goes. String compare, say diode. What was I getting for diode? Yep. I'll just cheat. People wonder, what am I doing here? But you'll see. Okay. I wasn't sure whether it was con or cont. And I was supposed to use the string length limited ones. Oh well. Need to build a program your phone OS can call it Boomerang. Ha! Yeah. Yeah, Canvas that's why I'll test it before I actually put it through that function. I'll basically just look to see if there's a decimal point, or is there, yeah. Or just see if it actually comes up with the things, whatever it says when it's open or whatever it is. Anyway, we'll deal with that as it comes. I need to... What? Oh, I wasn't supposed to make that. Oh well. Okay, what do I want here? Volt. Okay. Current. Res. Okay, dad we've handled. That is yep. Cap. Okay, that should actually be 3. Likewise that one. Frequency. Temp. That's all for now. Oh wow, I guess that one right on the mark. That's pretty unusual. Clearly a defect in the universe then. Hey Nick. Too many functions in argument. 786. Someone didn't do the last one. Okay, that's not right. Oh, I know why. Because they've all got the quotes at the start. I'm not even going to bother putting the other one. That's too painful. Ah. I could have done a string, but... Alright, getting there. Hey, Marcel Thunderbrook. Okay, getting there. You forgot the first if. No, I didn't. What first if is with? What? What did I forget? You're gonna make me do something I don't want to? Or maybe I did. Oh, right, I see what you mean. Yeah, okay. Alright, I get you. Don't yell at me. Not today. Well, that's certainly more than 9,000. Next thing I have to work out is... Now... Alright, this where it starts to get a lot of fun, as in, when I say fun, I mean annoying as hell, because it's all pedantic trash. You have to, like, say we get resistance, we're now going to have to work out what the multiplier is, as in, is it mega ohms, kilo ohms, milliohms, stuff like that. Same with the volts, is it millivolts, volts? You don't really go much. I don't think we'll be doing megavolts on this one. Frequency, hertz, kilohertz, megahertz. I don't know what the limit is on this one actually. One more for continuity. Wait, what? No, continuity is done. Hey Vil. 10 gigawatts. 12 22 gigawatts, isn't it? Any programming tips for newbies? Just start coding anything. Just find a project that you want to code and do it. That's really all I can say. It's kind of like the analog of when people say, how do you get started in board repair? Let's say to Lewis. And the same sort of thing applies. It's like, just get started. Find something that you want to fix. You definitely have to... I shouldn't say definitely. In most cases, if you have a legitimate project in mind, something you actually really want to do, that will help you get through the pains of trying to learn how to code. If, on the other hand, you just want to learn by rote, whatever, and just go through books and stuff like that, it won't stick in the head very well. It'll take you much longer. Better to find a project you want to do and then pick a language and just try it. Is Java programming good? I'm not going to get into that debate. Java, in my opinion, is a load of crap. I'm sorry. But Java is fine, but the trouble is that it didn't end up being the golden child that it was purported to be. Yeah, it was supposed to be write it once, run it anywhere, that sort of thing. And quite frankly, C kind of kicked its pants in that department. Likewise, even C++. And by the time Java virtual machines became fast enough to be useful, it was sort of the ship had already sailed. And now we have JavaScript instead for web pages, which I know is not what Java's meant really for. And then on the back end, we've got things like, well, PHP and .NET and whatever. Anyway, not really my department, but yes, Java is used a lot. Yes, it's popular, but I feel like it really didn't end up bringing to us what it was originally going to, or at least being proposed to bring to us. It didn't end up being that beautiful write it once, run anywhere type thing. Personally, I prefer C++ified, or rather C-ified C++. So you take C++, but you only use you just mostly write C, and then you utilize some functions of C++, mainly the templates, things like vectors, strings, objects occasionally, to just keep your code compact. But beyond that, I find C++ tends to be a little bit unwieldy and can get you into some situations that are probably harder to resolve than if you've just written in C in the first place. Pointers, I never understood why people found pointers so frightening, because it is legitimately, it's just an address. It's like it points to some location in memory, and that's it. But for some reason, it's like this great boogeyman of programming. You've got to manage your pointers. There are some scenarios where it can be difficult to manage, but for the most part, for most people coding, it's not something that is all that complicated. Sure, if you go off the edge of the cliff, you can cause a sec fault, but then we have code testers like Valgrind now, which do a fantastic job of finding out where you wander off the map. And the functions that come with standardized ANSI C standard, whatever, C11 or C17 or whatever, we now have a far greater level of functions that are, how could you say, pointer safe, so to speak, or memory safe, like strn compare or snprintf and things like that. Stuff that has been implemented because after the first sort of, like, say back in the 70s and 80s, we kind of went, ooh, it's a bit risky what we're doing, so we'll go this extra level of safety. It still lets you do very much, lets you live very much the C life, but it does perhaps say give you a seatbelt in a race car, so rather than putting you in a great big cocoon of cotton balls or anything like that. So you can still race around and be a lunatic, but at least you've got a seatbelt now. So yeah, so I think C is perhaps a little bit demonized by other people using other languages, and it maybe doesn't deserve that reputation quite as much anymore, pretty much since the 90s really. How did you learn programming basics? I started when I was about 8 or 9 years old, and I just started writing tiny little programs. I mean, the first thing that everyone writes is the hello world, and it just sort of went on from that. Is C++ more easy than Java programming? I don't know, actually. I really don't. I'd say C++ probably get into a lot more of a mess, perhaps, if you try and use all the exotic features of C++. I'd say that's more subjective. Hey, Harry K. How's Micro still on insulin injections? I haven't been here a while. Yes, I actually just got a really neat little device for Micro now, and that is, I'm going to be careful with this. Let's see, I'll press the button. It's a bit hard to see. But anyway, it's a little insulin fridge. So I keep his insulin in that. It keeps it cool, and that means instead of expiring or kind of going off and losing its potency after about 4 weeks, it should last 3 months if I'm lucky. Wayne, that's okay. It's acceptable. I started programming by typing in programs on the back of an MSJ CPC magazines. Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing. I think that's when I first learned about the disappointment of not having a mainstream device that everyone else was using. So like, even though my little computer that I had was a Z80 machine and it ran BASIC, I found that the programs that were in the magazines would only partially run, they wouldn't have the functions, and so that sort of hammered home the idea of having compatibility between machines and the need for a unified programming language between things, or functions, and APIs for that matter. So, yeah, I mean, I'm basically, same sort of thing. Honestly thought software programming would be vastly different to Arduino coding. Well, I mean, Arduino is, it's a wrapper layer above C for the AVRs originally, and then expanded out to everything else. Yeah, Cobas Central. Alright, let's keep on with this. We're going to have to widen out a window a little bit, because it's not big enough to contain this, so we'll just add another 2 digits, why not? Looks like we need another couple. Wow, that's a lot of digits. And that's what you get for an open circuit. Yeah, I don't think I'm just gonna stick with this. Kind of curious how fast I can make this thing go. Which I probably shouldn't be doing right now, but hey, I want to kick the wheels and take it for a spin. Okay, so I'm sleeping for... I'm just going to drop that down to 2 milliseconds, 2 milliseconds. I probably shouldn't be thrashing the interface like this, but who cares? I want to see it get 60 plus samples a second. It's not doing that. I've got to sleep in here somewhere. Well, maybe it's not asleep, and maybe it's actually the meter itself. Maybe I can't query the meter that quickly. The 65 samples per second thing might be an internal only speed, in which case you probably need to then create a or tell the meter to take that sample, and then you can read it back at a slower rate. Because I don't have any other further delays in there. Oh, what's this? What's this G interval crap? Maybe that was it. Yeah, okay, that's fast. That is fast. That's going to be really helpful because we can then make this software so that it will detect a peak. Like when you're starting up a MacBook and you want to see if you get a transient, say a current or something like that, although you wouldn't be able to do it quite like this, but if you say had a shunt on the, what could you do? Oh no, you could say you're probing one of the current inrush current sensors or something like that, and it'll come across as a voltage. But then you could use this and catch that very quick transient and sort of translate to see whether it's high current or not. Yeah, cool. Kind of thrashing the hell out of it, but that's fun. Small graph, yeah, that's the other idea. Use a small graph. Okay, so that was the G interval thing, so we'll call that revision 2. I kind of need some leads about now. It did come with leads, but they looked pretty shonky. The meter itself does have a peak hold function, but it would be nice to perhaps in the software itself, so you don't have to program the meter, perhaps in the software itself, kind of like with a VU meters, so like a graphical VU meter, you can have a peak in the last 10 seconds or peak in the last second fall off so that you can sort of see any sort of fast transients, but they stick around for a little bit longer and take 5 or 6 seconds to drift off. Version 2 stuff. Right, next thing we need to have here is a units indication. Supreme Innovations. Would you ever consider adding support for the Radio Shack True RMS meter 22,087? I've never seen one. I don't know what they're like. Are they an SCPI meter? If so, probably a very small modification of this code will do it for you. You're probably just reading the exact same value from ADC many times over between each sample. Drew, I don't think not quite on this one. It does have a, like I said, about 50 samples per second rate. It is a 55,000 count meter, so it's not going to be the exact same value. I think it's just more. I don't know. We'll have a look and see what happens. I gotta agree though, in some way you're right, you can see it go up in stages, so we'll explore that later. QT, you'll have a graph in 10 minutes. No thanks. QT restricts me. QT's been doing strange things with their licensing lately too. All software comes with this. I know. I've seen that one. Windows, of course, and if I was doing a lab situation and I wanted to log all that data and things like that, then I'll probably use the software that comes with this. But we are writing this, of course, for Open Broadcaster, so that's why we create our own little version, and of course it's Linux, just so that we're not left out in the cold. Yeah, so we're going to do units now. Continuity is wrong. I'll fix that up. Yeah, I don't know why it's cheaper. Maybe Element 14 Farnell came up for deal or something. Continuity was really a resistance. We don't want that filthy character. We want ohms. So this is line 7671. This is what we want. Oh. Okay. Gotta be Greek. Absolutely gotta be Greek. Yep. And this is another one here too. I don't believe you actually have to use the little bobble anymore. Let's see, 795. I'm not sure if I even have it. I'm not sure what DD is. OBO. Degrees. That'll be it. Yeah, DD. Hey Jeff P, how's it going? What's this? Seriously? I did too. It's 769 to 797. Expects an integer. Seriously? Oh, it's supposed to be string. Right, very good. 797. Oh, possibly now. 769. Okay, so temperature. Well, temperature's there. It's a little over pushed. Microfarad works. Resistance. Yay! We got the Greek ohms. Oh, okay. All those work. Oh, now it's over limit. Oh well. You can see how this code, you know, you start out with something simple and it gets way out of hand. Okay, so the other thing we have to do now, okay, so setting up things based on the mode, and now we've got to handle the data situation here. And I need to look at, okay. I think that's what I want. I think. We'll see. Reason... No, it's not going to be what I want. Anyway, it's going to do for what I want to do right now to give me an idea of what I'm looking for. Mongrel. No, let's do it this way. Seems like 1e plus 9, which is way out, is what this meter considers as an over limit value. So this is where we start getting into device specific device specific limits and quirks. Ah, that hurt. Weird. Why? Why is it doing that? R at the end of the buffer. Could be. Yeah, I see your point. Yeah. I hate line returns. Oh well, it achieves the result we want anyway. We're seeing the data that we want. So that's considered overload. If what was it? 1e plus 9. I don't know if I need string compare because it'll be 1e9, so if the lengths are both the same. Oh wait, yeah, I see what you're saying, yeah, because of that damn annoying line break at the end. Not line break, carriage return. 4. And I'm getting this all wrong. cam line breaks and carriage returns. Not used to dealing with those /R's. It's a very Windows type thing. To be fair, that is the one thing that Unix got wrong. It should have been /R/n, but they wanted to save the 1 byte, and so they compacted it to just /n. And now, forevermore, we will live with that drama. Cool. That's because it ain't set line 2. I should actually flag it, and I should do this before I get to where I set the units and everything like that. The reason being is that I want to be able to flag that it's an error condition, and then based on what mode it's in, it will report accordingly. Is that Peter putting... Oh, right, yeah. So, what are we in now? We're in resistance mode. Too much work to implement a wrapper that strips forbidden characters from the string just to append a terminating 0. The first one is encountered. Yeah, that's pretty much it. String naught equals naught. I'm just trying to think of how to go about this. I don't actually know. I think volts can kind of hit it. We'll have a look. And some of these things you just can't test. Oh. Why have I got a boolean there? That's so unprofessional. Yeah, so that just sort of more approaches 0. There are ways to improve on this, like with that value there, it's like down in the millivolts. There's got to be a way I can query this meter to see what its multiplier is or what its range is. I wonder if I can do that. Because right now I'm just using func to get the function that it's in and measure. There's got to be a query on what range. Let's see, minicom. Okay, let's try. Yeah. Starting. Seriously? Come on. Oh, ports are completely wrong there. Okay, start IDM. Okay. That's not going to work. Okay. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm just looking for a download. Volt DC rain. It's a shame I can't just get, that might work, but then that's going to be a pain. No. There should be a generic function, I think, where you can just simply say what is the current range. You have to ask per function. Yeah, that's going to suck. So func volt. Oh, and you can't go back. No, it keeps doing that. Func mes. Try that. No, same thing. See, right now it's showing millivolt DC on the meter. I swear I downloaded that manual. I don't think mode works on this one. Yeah, it doesn't. Okay, I'm just pulling up the O1 programming manual, which is pretty damn useless. I suppose it's a start though. Programming manual, save. Yeah, unfortunately they do tend to cripple these cheaper meters. Yeah. What I could do is, instead of reporting what the meter is showing, I could just look at the value and shift it left or right according to, whatever leading or trailing zero count there is. So try volt DC rain. Nothing. Hey Nick. Oh, yeah, that's a weird one. But someone else in the chat might be able to get their brain onto you for that. It shouldn't be cap sensitive, because I can do things like, and yeah, that's fine. So it's definitely not case sensitive. Yeah, contact us for support. And then I'll say, I've got a multi-com, and they'll like go deep, 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 hang up on me. Yeah, I'd probably still do the string to double, but then I would do my own. Um, Still, as you say, well, maybe if I just. You still would have to do string to double anyway, because you're going to at some point have to get the value converted. But then I would also perhaps read the mantassa and then make a decision based on that, depending on what triplet it's sitting in, whether it's 0, 3, 9 or -3, 9, 6. I've left out 6 for some reason. Maybe I don't like 6. Like none of this, that certainly doesn't work. We don't even get told if it's AC or DC. What do you mean, where is? I'm right here. Yeah, I think I'm just going to go with the decoding of the mantassa. And this is how software goes way out of control. Like, I mean, at least we've got something that works right now. I mean, it's a little bit bizarre. Hey, why is that saying volt there? What did I miss? How am I? What did I break? Sense volt DC ring. Oh, we'll give that a go. So what is it? Sense volt DC. But then there's no way I can be sure. Oh, damn it. Yeah, no, that's not going to work. That's the other point. I don't even know if I've got DC or AC. It's not a big issue, but it's something that I should be able to find out. VL, it's just C, and I'm using GCC as the compiler. Yeah, not. There may be no range at all. It could be internally there's no range, yeah, and then you just decide how you're going to process that. I mean, that would actually make sense. And so the meter is deciding what. But you can actually change the range on this though. Like I can, it's on auto range now. I can lock it to 50, 500 millivolts, 5 volts, 50 volts, 500 volts, 1000 volts. So yeah, there is actually range on this. I just noticed it's also got a speed setting. Cool, we set it to high. That's what we want. Yeah, the manual sucks. The manual just doesn't make sense at all. But what's concerning me right now is that all of a sudden I seem to have... Oh, I know why. I think. Do I? Yeah, I know why. Idiot. The function part there has to be done after we've actually assigned it to something. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, Scott's a little too quick to this. It's Linux. in this particular case, it's the Ubuntu distribution 2004 with Fluxbox desktop manager. Actually, it's not a desktop manager, it's a window manager. There is no desktop. And so it's quite lightweight. Get everything back to alignment again. So yeah, we basically decide what our after the E bit, what value we're going to get there. Oh yeah, that kind of helps if we put a value in there. Pointer n back. Oh, I got the transposed. I saw right at the start there's an error. Okay, so -5. Yeah, these bits here are now going to start getting way out of control. Way out of control. No, this is going to be done up here. But I need to do it here. I hate this sort of coding. Where it's all... everything's a flippin' corner case. sorry TD, but you've got to go all the way up here and become a random named variable that I'm going to forget about later on. Yeah, basically we're going to end up having to take this and put it in every single one. There are ways I could simplify it, but I think sometimes you get trapped like a dog between two bowls of food, even though it doesn't really happen like that. But you get trapped between doing it longhand the first time just to make sure it works versus what you know you're probably ultimately going to get to in terms of compacting the code and making it more efficient. And so you keep sort of trying to do it long ways, and then you go, I want to do it the compact, faster way, and you just keep switching back and forth like right now. Better I just, Scott, yeah, I'm going to basically ignore you for a second so that I can just chew it out in the long way, and then I'll come back around in the next iteration and compact it. I'm sorry, it's nothing personal against you. It's just that if I keep looking at what you're saying, you're pretty much going the same path I am. Like there's a little bit of deviations, but yeah, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I've got a path that I've got to just chase down. I see what you're saying about the EV divided by 3, but I'll get there. Just give me a moment. Actually, can I do that as 1e6? Ha! I can. Is that no? That's a hex value. Yeah, that might work. Yeah, thanks, Scott. Glad you understand. Like I said, it's no disrespect. It's just, you know how it is when you start coding in particular. Yeah, anyway, I'm just going to stop now. I'm probably offset by 1 here. I don't know if this is going to work, but sometimes... Yep. Oh, damn it, that's right. Oh. Okay, Scott's now going to be going... Told you. I just want to prove it works first, and then I'll come back. I could have also done it as an if statement, like a if between sort of thing. Switch EV. EV not declared. What? I thought EV was... Ah, right. This is where code starts to get really messy, and if you don't go back and clean it up shortly after you do this, it will become a complete and utter nightmare. Okay, so we are actually on the mark here. And now that I've got... Let's see, I actually can get rid of this. Okay, so that is actually correct, but I've got a few too many digits there. This meter, I pretty much can force it to go... So you only really want 5 significant digits at any given time. And I'm not sure if I can do that. I'm not sure how to do that in printf. Let's see, set number of significant digits in printf. Actually, significant digits isn't even what I want. I want total digits. 0.4f. Yeah, I've used the wrong term. It wasn't significant digits I want total digits. Set number of... Because yeah, if I do percent 4f, it'll always, like if I've got 26,458 volts, it'll then still put the 4 significant digits after that, which is not what I'm after. I've done this the longhand way elsewhere. I'm trying to think how I did it. I think one way you can do it is you can actually use printf to create the printf parameter you want to use into the next string. It's a little bit crazy. Just concatenate the string to 6 digits or 7 if there's a... Oh yeah, that's actually not a... You're right, that is actually a very simple solution. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Thank you. Is that percent star F4 is the... It looks like there's about 2 or 3 ways we can do this at least, yeah. Yeah, I need to add stuff for plus minus. I can prefix them, but minus I can't. Ah. Yep, that did it in the wrong place, obviously. I mean, if we do have the extra digits at the end, that's not a massive issue, but yeah, I mean, you can see what happens there. Percent forward. Okay, I'm just gonna do it the way that I used to. And this is gonna be really disgusting. Prepare for the horrors. I don't really need to then do the multiplier thing, so... These are actually all going to be the same anyway. Yeah, so that's fine. And then you kind of flip it around the other way for the others. Alright, well, we've experimented here, and now I probably need to compact it, yes, in some areas. This is really long-winded, and it's annoying when you make it long-winded like this, because if you decide to change something later, then you've got to go through every single instance of it. So yeah. But the upside is then you can make, in this case, very specific changes for a particular corner case. So as you're weighing up those things, you're like, do I deal with the pain of editing later, trying to cover everything, and I have to replicate it across multiple instances? Or do I do it the smart way, algorithmically, and then after that handle all the corner cases that I'm going to deal with? So you're either dealing with corner cases, or you're dealing with having to manually edit every time something core changes. That's your toss-up. But we will add that one thing which Scott mentioned, which was simply that we just divide the EV by 3. Actually, that doesn't work. It needs to be EV. So this is where it gets funny. So, like, if it's below 0, I think I'm off by 1 there. Pen and paper. this one. Hey Clay Freeman, just saw you there. All switch statements should have a default, technically. I mean, yeah, technically, but realistically, yeah, it helps you, yes. I mean, if like you say, this isn't a valid, and I mean, I've done that with a fair of the other ones, but you got to remember, I haven't finished this code section yet. That's the other thing. Wait till the code's finished. But it's not a hard and fast rule, that one. That's the other point. If you don't want a default state, what if you want it to fall through? I mean, habitually, just simply having a default case in there probably isn't a bad idea, but it's kind of like the debate around go-tos as well. Anyway, I think there should be 876. So anyway, it should be -2. Yeah, maybe I might just leave these. My brain's hurting too much at this time of the night. Sorry, Scott. Oh man, this is all backwards. I think I'm off by one somewhere here, but I'll work that out later. Fix the -7. I didn't see that. Oops, thanks. I've got a 1 off here, but at least I can just shift it around as I need it. Which means I could probably merge these two sections together, but anyway, the multiplier there would be none. I'm going to leave them separate just for the moment. Just for the moment. It's going to be a pain if I've got to do this for every single type of thing. I am really going to have to genericize, for lack of a better... I'm really going to have to make this code generic so that I can change the multiplier. Because I don't want to do this for every single function that we're using. I could, but what a pain. Too many arguments. Of course there is. Should work across all functions. Should. I guess we'll just take that. We'll take all that code, put it into a actual function, C function, and yeah, pass it some parameters and see how it goes. Okay. Resistance is over limit. I should actually change it from over limit for resistance to futile. Okay, we're obviously not doing it for anything. It won't interrogate range, but does it declare range changes? I don't think it does. Yeah, I'm really not sure. Okay, I probably should have done this for ohms rather than volts. I overthought this too much. I may have overthought this too much. No, I didn't quite. I might be able to. I'm just trying to look at it first before I do. Yeah, actually, maybe I can. Let's reorganize that. Okay, I'm just going to go into the workshop and grab a box of resistors, and then we can have a play around. Hey Warren, thanks. Meow, you don't get to go in. No. You're going to have a visit by Mia the cat. Yeah, Mole. Look out. No, you can't come in. No. Crazy cat. Meow. What? Really? You gonna say hello to everybody? Huh? Say hello to everybody. Yeah. Come on. Come on, you fat little whiny cat. Look. See? There you go. See? You're on TV. Internet. This is Mia. She's a long-haired butterscotch. She arrived here when she was about 6 months old. She was a stray. Just found her on the outside of the yard, and yeah, didn't we? Hmm? And this is her room basically. So fortunately, this is away from the workshop where I do all the soldering work and whatnot, by quite a distance. Yet somehow or another, her hair still gets down there, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah. You gonna settle in, or what are you gonna do? You're gonna be a pain? You know, put you up on the water heater. There you go. Just behave yourself. Alrighty. No, you can't jump down. No. This is why you don't get to come in here while I'm doing videos. Do you want to go out? You may hear strange noises and things falling down, and that'll be her fault. I forgot to get the test leads from downstairs, so I'm going to have to use their junky test leads. Ooh, well, at least they got an alligator clips with them, so that's going to help us. Mia was, she was outside waiting for me to open up the door and race in and commandeer my chair. This chair is her chair, according to her. Can't help yourself, can you? Yeah. Yep. Hello, Mia. What? Come on, give me... what? I'm trying to do serious work here, for goodness sake. I'm trying to show the world I can program stuff. And you're not helping. Wow, these are really very iffy leads. If you buy this multimeter, don't have any faith in the leads. Do you mind, honestly? No? You Come on, why don't you go up to the... What do you want to do? You want to settle down on my lap? Come on. Get down. Very good. Okay. Good thing we're at the end of the worst of the coding, because it's no fun trying to code with a cat on your lap. Okay. I think she's a little bit excited. That multiplier is not seeming to work. What have I got here? 2 ohms, 12 ohms. That might work. Oh, go settle on your water heater. Cats, they think they own everything that's yours. Hey, Sabatino. Well, these are just terrible, terrible. Look at that. The alligator clips do not close. It's bringing you out of a packet. Why am I showing overload? Well, that doesn't seem right now, does it, Mia? Yeah. I'm going to have to go down to the other workshop and get the proper leads, and I'm going to take Mira out with me. Yeah, she is reasserting her status. Say goodbye, Mia. You're not going to say what? Yeah, scratch, 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 scratch. You're ruining the coding, Mia. Come on. You done? Yeah. Now I've got to wash my hands. What are you doing? Huh? What you doing? What's this? Black shirt, white butterscotch fur. Bad combination. Come on. What do you want, Momo? You want food? You can wait until I'm finished. Yeah, look out. I think. Oh, you're stuck there. It's okay. It's okay. Oh, Mama, give you some biscuits. Come on. Crikey. Whew. You walk outside there and you get accosted by the hungry cats and they demand that you feed them before they let you go anywhere. Okay. These are some proper leads. I'm just going to put the banana... not the banana, the alligators on them. These are Hirschman branded leads. Very nice leads. I'll throw these ones ceremoniously. These are the ones that came with the unit. Whoop, that was a cat fight. Can't see who did it. It was Simba's in there in the corner, but I'm not sure where the culprit is. Oh, it's the tabby. You okay, honey? You okay, Tiger? Simba? You okay? I am still... Well, I was trying to save you from jumping up.
Loki had already jumped off.
Oh, okay. Hey, Micro. I just got Mir out of here and now Micro's come in. Welcome to the reality. Yeah, oh, you asking me? Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. Let's try this again. Blimey. A bad cat fart, one of the strays out there. Okay, so these are supposed to be... No, not those ones. Supposedly 12 ohm resistors. Which means they're actually, that's off spec by quite a bit. You don't think you've ever seen micro. It'd be a little bit hard to get micro up here. Maybe when I'm finished I'll have a shot. Yes, I don't know whether this meter is reading a little low or whether resistors are just old and dying. Yeah, they're supposed to be 1%, so that's why I'm thinking that something's not quite right there. I'm just trying to find something. I don't have a lot of large value ones. 1 ohm, 47 ohms. So, thank you. Are we eating anything later?
Do you want something now?
No, you look like you actually probably could. Yeah, you're right.
I just realised I didn't boil the chicken. You wanted chicken, didn't you?
That's okay. Don't worry about it.
You want chicken?
No. I mean,
What about just tomato?
yeah, that's fine. But I mean, if you're doing other stuff, is that micro? Okay, leave him in here for a second.
Okay.
There's some people who want to see him. Oh, what'd you do?
Rock.
What? You rock. Oh no. Yeah, I'll get him out. Listen. Probably not a good idea having water when I'm about to bring a cat up here. Micro. Baba. This is gonna be a... Come on, Micro. Come get your 5 seconds of fame. Might have to go full face view with this. Okay. Micro. Baba. What are you doing? Come here. You okay? Come here. Come here. No, come up here. Woof. You wanna come up here for a second? He doesn't like being picked up very much at all. Come here. Come here. It's going to take a little while to warm you up to the quick lift. Come here. There you go. There. Come here. No. Micro. No one wants to see your butt. You doing? You doing? Watch up. What's up over here? What's up here? Good boy. Yeah, so this is Micro. Here's our insulin cat. He's our precious little boy. He's the one that we thought we'd lost his mouse. His toy mouse. He's had his mouse ever since he was about 4 weeks old. Yeah, that's right. And you thought you'd lost it. Uh-huh, I agree. Anyway, so we thought we'd lost it, and thankfully we found it again, because it would be an absolute disaster if we couldn't find his mouse, because he would just go on like this all the time if you can't find it. Micro, come back here. You're ignoring me because you know you can. Because you're a cat. Hmm? He's out of here. I'll have to go. There you go. Thank you for attending. Alright, now I have to get all this prep back up again. Oh yes, they're very well and truly capable of training humans. No questions about that. Yeah, he's a pretty sort of classic, what do you call it, tuxedo cat. We got him just about a week or so after I'd lost my long-term cat. It was Jinx, who was a tabby. He was a ferocious creature, but Julie did love him. And then Micro came along. The vet rang us up one day and said, look, we've got these kittens, we could, it'd be nice if you could help us out. Okay, well these are 2.2s. So that's a little more where we want to. I'm just going to switch the speed back to low. So it's sort of there. It could be just that they're very old stock. I mean, they've got to be getting on. Well, they're over a decade old now. No, well, the problem we had with the other one was the fact that the resistance was in fact too low. So it's a 2 ohm. We'll try 10k. Oh. Trying to have a serious stream here, my dear. They're gonna lynch me. Okay, so we've got 10k resistor going on. So 999, that's pretty good. There's a fair bit of noise in there though, not sure where that's coming from. But I'm pretty happy with that. So yeah, I'd say that first one, the resistor's just sort of gone a bit funny. Yeah. Who would win in a YouTube Meowfest? Micro, video? Oh, definitely Clinton. Clinton is most certainly Clinton's definitely a more vocal cat. Micro gets vocal only if you're actively talking to him or he's got his mouse. When he gets his mouse, he really goes for it. Elita's turn to go on camera. I don't think so. No, she won't want that. No averaging on the meter. I haven't enabled any of that. No, this is just direct values in. It seems to have got a mid-speed. It's got 3 speeds on this. Like this is mid-speed. And then fast. Oh well. Okay, so that seems to be doing alright. So we got a millivolt. Since we've got a resistor across the line, it should be pretty close to 0. We're getting microvolts over a second. We'll just drop the speed to low. So that's pretty close. It seems to be, doing a reasonable job. Temperature is going to be the one that messes up, perhaps. Suggestion: static placeholder character for negative. Yeah, I agree. Yep. It actually is in my other code, but because of the fact that I've changed the way I did things here, it's trying to think. There is actually in C you can, in printf, you can actually tell it to preserve that space. Sign. There we go. That's it there. I knew there was that. Okay, so we just need a space. And this is where I was talking about you have to decide whether you want to do corner cases or you have to go through and do a whole bunch of code over and over. So I could just do this as a printf. I think this is what I want. Not a printf, search replace. But sometimes working out the search replace takes longer. I better make sure that's actually right. Yeah, okay, it's not complaining. And I've done them all already. Okay, bolts. So yeah, you just need the space in the formatting. Yeah, Clay, that's no surprise to the fact that, there are so many things in that printf type function that, even 50 years on, I'm not going to know it all. I mean, of course, you could have done it just through having as you said, a spacer char, a character there, and it'd actually be a string. Yeah, if it was positive, then you'd have a space, and if it was negative, you'd have nothing. Yeah, printf is Turing complete, pretty close to it. Amps. Well, at least I know the micro character works. Interesting, it takes a while there before it switches mode and then it starts reading the values. I suppose that makes sense. Capacitance. Okay, I've made a mistake there on capacitance. Capacitance should be farads only. Oh, what's up in there? Oh no! No, I've got to do a kill 9, eh? No, what's going on here? Something's causing it to crash. What's that? You call that microvolts. What do you have for millivolts? Milli is just the letter M. But I'm kind of curious why this is... it could be a stuck serial fault. I gotta say, one thing I really like about this meter is that it's silent, or at least you have the option to either have it silent or beeping. Because that is one thing that definitely drove me insane with the Vicky meter, is that it just goes beep, 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 and then finally settles down. Crashed at the far end, maybe. Let's have a look. There is that bit of trash at the very beginning that I got to fix up. Let's see. Stop, quit. Okay. Oh, that'd be yeah, okay. We can probably start turning off certain things. Debugging lines and whatnot. So, where else we're looking? Hey Manfred, it's not that bad when you you just got to break it down into little pieces. If it's too complicated, try to break down to something simpler, and so on and so forth. Do I have debug enabled, do I? I do indeed. No wonder I was getting so much output trash. There we go. Increase the speed, high speed. It seems to be doing alright. Interesting, the negative there was not quite right. Something didn't quite work out there. That. What's going on there? We're missing we got 0. And now I need my debugging back. Crud. You are correct, it is not the same thing, yes. There is that subtle difference. But I'm not sure whether that's really what's going on here or whether it's something else. I'm just going to wait for it. Okay, we just saw it then. Oh, we didn't remake the code. Oh, okay. It's E minus 10. I did not know that. So I really need something that's... minus 10. I suppose maybe it can do down to picoamps. Nanoamps. I guess we'll do the triple. Someone didn't compile. Yeah, it's like everyone forgets nano and goes straight to pico. Okay, yeah, we see a nano amp coming up. I don't have any resistors big enough. Like, I don't have a 10 mega ohm, but at least If I looked at the spec sheet, maybe I'd work out what its complete range is, but anyway. What, as well as, what's this Steve K saying? You do have a micro symbol, yes. Just hold both prodes. I would only probably be about 10 mega. No, probably only about 1 meg, I'd say. Maybe I'll stick these on my earlobes. Okay. How much current can I generate? Probably not a lot. Let's go to resistance. I'm not even a meg. How lame. 0.77. Yeah. It's interesting, on the meter it represents it as 0.89900 mega ohm. Whereas on our code, we're representing it as 950k or whatever. To be fair, the last two digits on that, they're basically noise. I guess it doesn't really matter. Okay, we've got an E7 there, so the open air resistance. So we have to cover that. Actually, I thought that was covered. Yeah, what's going on here? That's because, Paul, you're supposed to divide it before you put it there. How did that happen? Alright, that's better. Shouldn't OSD stick to terminal? Because I see plane naught 1 minute. I'm not sure what you mean by that, night cursor, sorry. Okay, let's short the leads. Well, that's a much better resistance compared to the Vicky. The Vicky has sort of like a zero resistance, as it were, of about 0.23 to 0.33. Now this does have a 4-wire mode. Unfortunately, my 4-wire leads are neither here nor are they set up for banana plugs. The 4-wire leads I've got use BNC connectors, so yeah, it's not very compatible to this, but I'll probably actually make my own 4-wire high precision, very fine point test leads, but that's going to be something I'll need. I think at this point I'll be able to put this into use tomorrow, for whatever I happen to do, repairs, whatever. Should be just fine. There may be a glitch or two that we spot, but in the meantime, this is working. Can't argue with it working well enough. Okay, now I've got to work out how to upload this to Git directly. I always forget. I can do a Git init, but I need to create the Git project. How to create a GitHub project from an existing directory. Go to the directory containing it. So git init. Okay, right. Type git add to add all the relevant files. Git add MP73 CPP make file roboto minus star readme license star. Okay, sounds good. Type git commit, but I haven't. Okay, I wonder if this will work. Git commit. Oh, I've got to read the next section, which tells me what I'm. New repo from existing. Go to your GitHub. Lying little blighters. I thought there was an easy way to do this. Yeah, I've got to push it, but I've got to have the upstream project on GitHub itself. So I'm just going to log into GitHub. Why? Sign in. Don't mind me for a second. I've just got to create my new repo. And it's going to be a name that makes no sense to anybody. MP730424 OSD. On-screen display for multi-comp MP730424 multimeter. Create repo. Yeah, the next section I can't actually show you guys because I'm going to have to put my password into it, so ain't doing that. Okay, git remote add origin. Push. I botched it up. Ah, crud. Definitely added RSA host key to the list of known hosts. Permission denied. Oh, man. Git remote remove. Okay, I've got to do this using a different way. No, I didn't forget my password. It's funnily enough, I should have just looked at when you create a new repo, Git actually tells you how to do it properly. I just went off someone else's thing and it misled me. Alright, now I know what I'm doing here. Okay, and all I've got to do is cut paste. So Git actually does make it easier. Another fight.
Yeah.
Oh. I'll let you handle that. Thank
No,
you.
I already have.
Sorry?
I already have.
Oh, you had to go out there and... Oh, I'm sorry, my love.
Okay. Do you want orange juice?
Yeah? Oh, it's... just let me just... Hang on. Ah. rewards while I do this. Okay. So, get remote add origin. Done. Get push origin master. Ah, that's what I wanted. Bandanky, thank you. We are done. Let's see if this actually shows up. Yep. Cut, paste. There we go. Now everybody can enjoy that. And I can move this back to here and no one can see. Ah. Oh yeah, some bitey orange juice, which I like. There we got ham, cheese and tomato toasty. Excellent for this time of night. No, I'm pretty happy given that. Okay. So yeah, anyone can now have a look at that code on GitHub. It's all there. Running Linux. Ah, I've got to change the readme. That's the old one. The 7100 is the actual power supply that I have. Yeah, just have to change that readme. I hope we've got the right license on it. BSD 3 clause? Jolly good. Okay. Yeah, no can of V tonight. That had me buzzing for a bit long. Clay Freeman, unfortunately what's happened is that our sleep schedule, our whole time schedule has shifted probably 4 hours later. So we tend to get up at around about 10, 11 and go to sleep quite late. I do love late night toasties because when I used to work in the hotel industry, it's sort of like the only thing you could get the kitchen to produce for you at was strange hours. Like I was doing IT work in the hotel industry. You know, you get hungry at 2, 3 in the morning when you're sweating over some busted up Novell server, NetWare rather. You're trying to get the AS400 back at head office to talk to these remote terminals over 64K ISDN lines, things like that. And so yeah, you'd get a toasty and finally kick back and have some nice quiet time at the small hours of the morning. One of the limited luxuries you'd have. Ian's also right. It's during the summertime. It's the only time that you can actually get work done because of the heat. Yeah, this lettuce looks really awful, but I'll eat it because I should be eating something green. a bit better. It's Cos lettuce. Excuse me. Pardon me. Point of sale and PMS systems and underlying infrastructure, band-aid where it was always a hack job. And many a time I'd get a call at 1:30 or something like that because the nightly Fidelio run would fail, and you tell them just try to restart the Fidelio, the NetWare server. It never worked, so you'd have to get in the car and drive 150 k's out into the wilderness. Well, it wasn't really wilderness. Most of the time I was working out at you may have heard of the Sun City area in Africa, southern Africa. Just off to the side of Sun City, the whole area is called Palanisburg, and I did a lot of work in 2 hotels there. One was Kwamaratani, the other one was Bakaboom, and yeah, they were regular people wake me up at 1 o'clock in the morning and say the server doesn't work, and I'm like, oh. On the upside, I get free food and free bedding, and there was always people out there that I knew. Oh, the hotel industry is terrible for stand. Yeah, I mean, everything's a hodgepodge. And that's why people put up with such trashy systems, is because if they go to something else, it's going to be a complete upheaval, and they can't, it's too costly to go with the upheaval, so they stick with the dodgy. Ham, cheese and tomato toasty. Brilliant stuff. Brilliant. Fortunes to be made. Yeah. Was anyone used to read Linux Journal back in the late 90s? I've got one article in there. Last night I watched on Netflix Mortal Engines with Hugo Weaving. It was okay. There's a few things that I'm sitting there and I'm going, why would that even happen in the first place, sort of thing. I suppose I shouldn't critique the movies too much. Obviously for a younger audience. But yeah, I guess it wasn't but overall wasn't too bad. Bacon and banana toasty. I've had bacon and banana pizza. So does that count? Movies require us to shut down our brains. Yeah, it's true. It is true. Mind you, sometimes it helps to at least have some sort of reasonable explanation for what's going on. And banana sandwiches are the staple diet for most kids here in Australia. Throw a bit of bacon on there, why not? Like, I think one of the things that stumped me in Mortal Engines was so much relied on this main character receiving a particular item that was to be handed to her over a period of time in order to be able to stop the destruction of something. And I thought, It's kind of crazy because the main character could have been dead. The item could have been lost while it was being waited on, or the person to give it to him could have died. Pardon me, sorry, the repeating on me. And why didn't the person who was holding it actually at one point look at it and sort of go, hey, this is one of those things that can shut down the great damaging system? Yeah, it's just, I don't know. A few too many things popped up like that, and I was like, it's getting a bit frustrating. So the Fast and Furious thing stated they can see heat using special glasses even behind very thick thermal. Yeah, stuff like that, and you just sit there and you go, yep. You do the, what's his name? Robert Downey Jr. So, mint chocolate with a nut inside. We watched some film recently where a person was using a clamp meter as a two-way radio and still had the test leads connected. Huh. What a weird movie. Wasn't Electro Boom, was it? Ah, it's not dark chocolate. I much prefer dark chocolate over milk chocolate. This, what do we got? We got mint lint ball. Very minty. All done except for that is a bit too bitter. And the wrong kind of bitter. Some bitters are great, but not that. Hey, Carl Green, ZA? ZA. Whereabouts in South Africa are you? We were just talking about South Africa. Sorry, I'm just trying to process this chocolate. Yeah, 95% cacao lint, that'd be nice. Like Sandra Bullock's Hacker movie. Oh, why did you bring that up? Yeah. Some of those were just terrible, terrible, terrible. Cape Town. Oh, alright, cool. Yeah. I never remember leaving Cape Town. Ever. Okay, I suppose it's not true. Because, yeah, when I'd finish with my job down on the waterfront, I'd always make sure I have a couple of hours before my flight was due to go back to Johannesburg. And so naturally you go to the vineyards. And yeah, you'd get back to Johannesburg that night and you realise you bought yourself a couple of cases of wine that you're probably not sure if you really tasted properly, but maybe they just had someone who was a little bit too good at sales pitch at you or something. Yeah, it was a good way to lose a lot of money. Spoke about Potjie course and everything else the time you spent. Oh, okay, cool. Right, yeah, good old Potjies. Yeah, it's a really, I enjoyed it a lot, you know. Potjie's prize, swearing in Afrikaans, that's always good. Never touching the Potjie. Get those people that sit there and they try to stir the Potjie too much or mess around with it rather than letting its layers build up as they should. Yeah, cut those hands off when they do that. Things are crazy in South Africa at the moment. I have seen that, yes. I do keep a pretty close eye on what's happening in the news. I've got a lot of friends that are still over there. So I see Eskom's definitely not giving you guys any help, as usual. And even though you got rid of Zoom, it seems like, yeah, as expected, things aren't changing much. Yeah. So yeah, my full sympathies to you, good sir. Yeah, but I've got a lot of friends still over there. I do. Quite a few of them have also come to Australia or New Zealand. Um, I've got one fellow. He used to be a DJ on 5FM, and he's now living over in New Zealand. So I keep in touch with him too. How are things in Australia? Any protests there? There were a few protests, but nothing major. We don't quite have the energy in us to put up a big enough fight sometimes. Not like the Americans. Tough times and retrenchments. Bummer. How's things in terms of your job security? Are you okay, or are you also in the firing line? Don't you guys use all your energies fighting kangaroos and emus? It's mostly dodging the snakes, yeah. Sneaky little buggers, those things. Get into your shoes, get into your underwear. Yeah, scary stuff. On a serious note, though, when it comes to snakes, basically if you leave them alone, like even if you see one and it looks like it's rearing up at you, it's like trying to go at you, just get out of its way and it will go on its way. If you think it's chasing you, it's probably because it's trying to actually get past you, or it's trying to, you're in its exit path. If you don't believe me, if you think that snakes will chase you and stuff like that, then there's a few videos done by some moderately local people here, and they will take, say, Australia's most lethal in terms of number of deaths snake, the eastern brown as far as I recall, and they will start to get in its path, antagonize it slowly. Oh, ooh, big pile of cat food for me. Yum yum. But yeah, and then that's when they rear up and they look like they are going to attack you. But they're very good at seemingly to be threatening, but they're not really. They will bite, but you've got to really push them. Anyway, as soon as they get out of the way or anything like that, the snake just goes straight. It just wants to run, because as far as they're concerned, we humans are a predator. We're too big to eat. We're too big to take down. So they just want to get out of the way. So it's as simple as I can put it. I do remember when I was over in South Africa, I came across two. What were they? Oh, I can't remember the name of the damn snakes now. It's been too long. Sort of fat, stocky ones. But the thing that scared me most about South African snakes is that they have cytotoxin, whereas Australian snakes are predominantly neurotoxic. And you might think that neurotoxic sounds worse because mess with your brain, but at least it just sort of knocks out your nerves for a bit and all that. Whereas the cytotoxic venom, it rots your flesh away. So I remember being out at the game parks and there was a few guys out there and they'd have missing digits or big chunks of flesh missing out of them where it's like scarred over and stuff like that. So yeah, if you're going to get bitten by a snake, try the Australian neurotoxic rather than the African psychotoxic, nastier puff adders. I think it might have been them, yeah. I can't remember. Just for sure. Numbers, puff adders, I don't know. I just remember one of the office challenges that we had at the time was there was a big game park and we were just dropped off randomly in the middle of this game park with a map and a compass, and we had to find our way back to the station, the reserve. Unfortunately, there's no lions in this particular park. There was just the usual sort of giraffe and zebra, that sort of stuff. Plenty of kudu. Actually, wait a minute, kudu. There's a bunch of box, but anyway. So we had to walk through it all ourselves, just guiding ourselves by a compass and we didn't even have compass, come to think of it. No, we didn't. We just had a map. That was it. And we had to use our brains. We were allowed to watch. And at least with a map and a watch and sunlight, you can work out where you're going. Yeah, it wasn't boom slang. It wasn't Cape Cobra. Yeah, I can't remember. I'll have to ask the guy that did the deed and dropped us off in the middle of nowhere. Can't remember. Oh well, doesn't matter. I don't think I can find it. South African snakes. Yeah, definitely not a beam slang. Puff adder. I'm pretty sure it was puff adders. Yeah, this fella. Yep, puff adder. Yeah, there was a couple of puff adders, and I was like, oh, look at that. Nearly stood on them. Yeah, that was. Yeah, got out of the way, and they left me alone, thankfully. Similar to the pit viper is the puff adder, no rattles on the tail. Okay. Did you check Lewis Rossum's new store? No, I haven't. He lives too far away from me. But Manfred, no stiz. Good job. Thanks for your support. Danke. In German. Ja, is welcome. Do you guys have the Pine phones in Australia? I don't know, actually. I'm kind of curious. I've messaged the Pine people. I want to see if they can provide board views because they've got the schematics. So board view would be good. I've tried to explain to them that we're not asking for a full EDA package. We just simply want pins, position, part, nets, and that's it. And from that you can generate the board view. So hopefully they will understand, and hopefully we'll be able to get board views, and it'll be a good start. Linux on a phone is pretty awesome. It'd be interesting to see. Certainly, I always felt that Android kind of missed the boat a little bit because they're always going to be lagging behind a bit because of the extra layer that they've got, that the Java layer, which whatever they've translated to now. It sort of slowed things down so much compared to what it could have been if it was just native Linux with maybe Qt interface or something like that. Yeah, I'd actually like to try one. I don't know how functional they are, but I would like to try one. I mean, I gotta admit, I would still be sticking to my standard, which is my iPhone 7 Plus, until at least I can nick someone's iPhone 8 Plus. That's how I work. I basically wait for a customer to give up their phone because it might be a little bit of water damage or something like that, and then I commandeer it. Let's see. The backboard has... Yeah, I saw that. I only got to see a little bit of Lewis's stream, but that switching there, it would make you think that perhaps people who are very security conscious or paranoid, take your pick. Depends whether they want alpha oil packed with the phone or not. That would be a great thing, because you actually legitimately physically turn off those devices. I noticed because microphone was in there as well. From a security standpoint, that would actually be a sort of thing. Yeah. Vampire would tend to mean that I'd drain the life out of it, but doesn't matter. I'm a hermit, phone hermit. Yeah. Oh well. But yeah, I'd be curious to look at the Pine phone, and I'm actually very curious to look at the Pine laptop, the Pine Book. Noticed, it could be a very useful thing, particularly if it does have an open, or it will be the ability to load Linux on it freely, unlike, say, the Chromebooks where you kind of have to battle around with it. Read some stuff. Even if you disable some things like GPS, some applications will enable it. What's this? That you mean like on Android? Phone Magpie, that's more like it. Oh, Phone Bowerbird, that's it. Phone Bowerbird. Pinebook is awesome, really slow processor. Bummer. Is the processor on the Pinebook faster or slower than the Raspberry Pi 4? I don't really know my ARM processors very well. But yeah, I'd be very happy to have a look at those things and just to see what they're capable of. It's nice that the screen is at full 1080 at 14 inch. It's a good combination. Looks like Pine Phone is in Australia for $224. So add 30% on that. No, double it. $400. $450. Hey Mark, just passing through, packing up from work. You up late? Yeah, I've just finished programming. So we've done the job. The software works well enough. I will put it to use tomorrow or something when I move this. I wonder, is this serial port under the limitation of user or root? Ah, we left the flippin' debug message in there. Actually, maybe I should just leave that up. If debug. Yeah, we'll just do that. Okay, git add. You already know my username anyway. Okay, it's done. Yep, so there you go, it works. Can't complain. That's pretty much a short circuit going on there. Yeah, I finally got the meter. Let me see if I can bring it up here so you can have a look. Looky-loo. Hey, it's a bit of a train wreck. I'll blame my cats for causing that. Man, I just realised it's quite late. I'm not going to be able to get to watch anything tonight. Well. Where's my damned OBS? There we go. Yeah, so that's pretty decent meter. Good viewing angle on the LCD. 4-wire resistance. I'm happy with that. And for now, it's going to suffice for when I'm using it in a job. Oh, we haven't sorted out the AC/DC thing yet, but for now, yeah, it'll work. How much for that? It was 300 Australian dollars, which is pretty cheap. It's a 4.5 digit, which a lot of people are going to go, that's not much. Yeah, you get 5.5, man. You should get 6.5 digits. But really, for the work we do, 3.5 digits is still an overkill. So 4.5, more than happy with that, especially with the price. If I were you, Paul D, I'd watch Lewis's experience with the Pine Phone. I did see the start of it. I didn't get to see the rest of it. I believe he was having some battery issues, and then he had to get that sorted out. As I understand it, the phone is still very much a developer's device and not really a ready for consumers type device. Yeah. Oh, I think it's 10 to 3 in the morning. This was only supposed to be an hour and a half programming, but that clearly got out of control. Okay, well, I think that wraps that up. So I can't think of much else to do other than to tomorrow put it into test. Hopefully we get some machines to fix, and we'll see what it's like in live use. He probably could have plugged in and waited. Or I think it might have been because he was using the Apple charger, was it? Anyway. No. I don't think Jack would approve of that meter, but I think it'll work for you. Yeah, it'll work for me, yes. Okay, well, thank you all. I appreciate it. Thank you everyone that contributed. And I will see you next time. In the meantime, you all take care. I'm going to go get some sleep. I'll catch you later.